The hypocrisy is real, friends. What's good for them just can't be good for us too. It just can't be. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Conservative Poet with me, Amania. Let's just dive in. Let's go. So, Governor Abbott, as y'all know, I cover the border a lot here because how can you not? We have an invasion and we have hypocrites all across the board, all over the place, especially at the top. The hypocrites. This video is probably going to end up happening in a couple of different setups, but we're going to go. So I want us to go back to a few years ago where we had a situation in Washington, D.C. They've called it an insurrection, where they had to take drastic measures. They had to take drastic measures, right, to protect themselves because of the American people speaking out because of a stolen election. The people wanted to speak and have their voices heard. And so they call that an insurrection. But nowadays, they just say freedom of speech. They just say people have the right to protest because that's their right as Americans. But, when the right does it, when we with common sense does it, it's called an insurrection. But I'm going to digress. Y'all know I'm going to digress. I'm going to try not to say too much here on YouTube about all that. So, they decided that they were going to protect themselves from we the people. And so Nancy Pelosi decided that they were going to barricade the swamp and protect themselves. And how do you think they did that? I'll give you two guesses. A wall, barbed wire wall. So win. Two guesses. Barbed wire wall is how they did it. Which brings me full circle, friends, to our friends in Texas who have put up barbed wire. Being that barbed wire worked, I mean, it's living proof because Washington, D.C. put it up and says, you know what, we're going to protect our border here, the swamp in D.C., we're going to protect it. And we know what works is barbed wire. And so Texas says, hey, that worked for them in Washington, D.C. I wonder if we give it a go here with the invasion at our border, if that's going to work too. So they tried. And it works, guys. They're actually securing the border. And so the Biden administration comes out and says, well, yeah, we see what you're doing and we don't like it. Yeah, you can't use barbed wire to protect your state or protect the American people from an invasion. No, we're going to call in reinforcements. We're calling in reinforcements, friends. We're calling in the Supreme Court, the law of the land. We're calling them to put down the law. And so they did. But before we get into the rest of that, I would like for us to go back in time and to see Washington, D.C. barricaded in fencing that protected them. A wall, dear friends, a wall protected them. And to make matters worse, it just wasn't just a wall. It had barbed wires. Barbed wires. Barbed wires. Barbed wires. It had barbed wires on it. Our friend Benny Johnson, the Benny Show. We love Benny, our boy Benny. He had a video from some time back with Turning Point USA, and he took a little tour of the great Washington, D.C. swamp to show us all about the wall that Nancy Pelosi built around D.C., around the swamp, to protect them from the American people. Because again, they can protect themselves with walls and barbed wires, right? They can do that. But the country is opened. And if you say we need walls and barbed wires, they say you're a goddamn racist. You're a racist and a xenophobe because you're trying to keep people out. But if they do it, they're just protecting themselves. They could protect themselves, but we, the people, we're on our own. And so Texas decided, well, since it worked for y'all, I'm going to put it to the test and see if we can secure our borders. But let's see Nancy Pelosi in action. Our boy Benny, the Benny Johnson Show. Let's go. Hello, fellow patriots. Thank you so much for your support. And again, you can do so by purchasing products from the Orlando Patriots, mugs, t-shirts, all of your patriotic gear. We are in an election year, so we need to show the world that we support our candidates, especially President Trump. So get some gear at theorlandopatriot.com and you'll get 30% off. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. I'll see you there.
For decades in Washington, D.C., they have told you that they don't know how to build a wall, or that walls are racist, or that walls are evil. Those were all lies, people, because Washington, D.C. right now has perhaps the greatest wall in America, and they built it overnight. Here is Nancy Pelosi's Great Wall, all the way around the Capitol, miles long, protected by razor wire, and really tall. For decades. Look at the size of this thing. Look at the height. The first thing you want in a wall is something where you're walking up to it and you're like, holy smokes, how am I going to get over that thing? This is like, maybe I'm 6 foot tall. This is twice my height. I think this is two Bennies tall. This is a at least 12 foot tall wall right here. Look at that size. Solid, height, good, tall wall. That's the first thing you want in a wall. Nancy Pelosi knows that. That's why Nancy's wall is tall.
A wall is an immorality. It's not who we are as a nation.
Well, friends, you seen that? You heard that? Good. So, again, the hypocrisy is very, very real. Now, razor wires they don't mind razor wires cutting up the American people if the American people decided to take on the barricades, right? Oh, that's just Americans. Yeah, they can get cut up, they can bleed to death. But on the southern border, where non-Americans are invading the country, we can't have that. No, we can't have that. We can't have illegals invading the country hurt. Again, people are doing this on their own, coming here, taking the risk, and coming here this way. You can't protect your border. You can't protect your country. You can't protect your people. But they out there in the swamp, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, and the rest of them, they will protect themselves at all costs. Benny Johnson, shout out to you, Benny, Turning Point USA, shout out to you guys. This was a great video. And my God, is he ever funny? He's very, very good. Y'all go check him out. He's a great patriot, and I love to watch him do his thing. So thanks again, Benny. I mean, look at the hypocrisy of all of this. I guess they didn't know, as Greg from the Black conservative perspective says, the pendulum always swings. So they never saw this coming back to haunt them, that we would now have such a conversation about barbed wires when they feel like they need to protect themselves with barbed wires against the American people. But the American people cannot protect themselves with what? Barbed wires on the southern border or any port of entry that people are pouring into. I mean, they have barbed wires on top of the prisons, right? There's a prison right there in Orange County that I'm very familiar with. And ever you drive by it on John Young Parkway, barbed wires everywhere. Matter of fact, I probably should have. I didn't know I was going to be doing this video. I would have gone and take live footage of me on the ground, pictures of Orange County police or the Orange County jail with barbed wires. Because again, jails have them to keep people from coming in and to keep people from going out. So what do we know? Walls and barbed wire works. Nancy Pelosi knows that walls and barbed wire works. Keep them in, keep them out. The only place they know that it don't work is on the southern border where the invasion is happening. Why? Because they want the invasion. They like the invasion. They need the invasion. And so therefore, yeah, we're going to put the hammer on you. We're going to put the Supreme Court, the law of the land, and we're going to say, no, you can't do that. That's racist. That barbed wire right there, that there is a racist. If you want to do that, that is xenophobe. That is xenophobe, and that is racist. Yeah, that's what they say. Well, our boy Benny Johnson has shown us the hypocrisy of these people. They will protect themselves. They've got walls around their house. Matter of fact, I was on a drive recently. I was on the highway and they're building a new community. Before they've done anything, before they put a house in the community, you know what went up? The wall. Because guess what? It's going to be a gated community. Therefore, we're going to have walls where we are going to keep those who we don't want in the community out. And those who we allow in, well, there'll be a gate so you can drive in and out. When you live there, we'll have a gate for you to come in and come out. And guess what? There will be a code. You can't just walk in. And there'll probably be security because you can't just drive in. And I'm sure that's how it is at all of their houses, are elites who live in fortresses, behind fortresses, in their fancy gated community. And we know Nancy Pelosi lives in one of those too. But let's not bring up her whole incident with her husband and his lover and all that. We're going to leave that out for now. But yeah, they live in a fancy gated community. You can't just walk in and out. You have to be allowed in. And just like in Benny's video there, you can't just come in and out. You have to be allowed in. But the southern border? Yeah, you can come and go as you please, friend. It's cool, baby. It's cool. Come and go as you please. No security there. No razor wire there. No wall there. No. Just come on down. We're not building walls with razor wire. We're building bridges. That's Joe Biden's quote. I will never forget that. Never forget that. Because these people are hypocrites. They're hypocrites. And let's never let them forget. Seen that, heard that, good.